The stars stretched wide and endless outside the viewing deck of the research vessel Aurora. The ship moved quietly through the void, its engines humming with steady rhythm. Inside, the crew of humans carried on their duties with calm efficiency. They were explorers, scientists, and travelers, searching the distant systems for signs of life and knowledge. Aaron stood near the glass window, his eyes fixed on the barren moon ahead. He was young, one of the newer members of the crew, still, filled with a sense of wonder each time he looked into the black sea of space. Unlike the veterans who treated the journey as routine, Aaron always felt like something unexpected could be waiting beyond every horizon. "Scanning complete," called Mira, the ship's sensor officer. "The moon has no cities, no structures, no signals, just rock and dust." Captain Rian leaned over her shoulder. His voice carried a note of curiosity. "Then why did our long-range probe detect movement on the surface? Something is there." The crew exchanged uneasy glances. Life on a moon like this should not exist. The surface had thin atmosphere, no resources to support settlements, and no signs of water. Yet the reading was clear. Something alive was walking there. The captain ordered the shuttle to prepare. Aaron volunteered immediately to join the landing team. His eagerness made the others laugh, but the captain allowed it. Soon, Aaron and two others boarded the small craft and descended through the silence of space toward the moon. The shuttle touched down on gray soil, sending small clouds of dust into the air. The landscape stretched empty, filled only with rocks and shadows. The team stepped out in their protective suits. Aaron's eyes scanned the distance, his heart beating faster. "There," whispered Leon, pointing ahead. At first, Aaron thought, it was only a figure formed by stone and shadow. But then it moved. A slender figure walked slowly across the barren ground, her steps uncertain, her body swaying as if tired. The team froze. It was not a trick. Someone was there. As they drew closer, the image became clearer. The figure was a girl, not human, yet strangely familiar in shape. Her skin carried faint patterns that shimmered under the pale light. Her eyes were large and filled with both fear and exhaustion. She looked fragile, as if a single strong wind could make her collapse. Aaron felt a strange pull in his chest. She looked lost and lonely. Without thinking, he stepped forward and raised his hands to show he meant no harm. His voice came through the speaker of his suit. "We are not here to hurt you. We are travelers." The alien girl stopped moving. Her breathing was uneven. For a moment, she seemed ready to run. Then she tilted her head slightly, studying the humans in silence. Aaron kept his voice soft and steady. "You are not alone now. We can help you." The girl's lips parted, but no sound came. Instead, she stumbled forward, falling to her knees. Aaron rushed to catch her, ignoring the warning from his teammate. As his arms wrapped around her, he felt her body trembling. She was weak, but still alive. When he touched her, a strange sensation filled the air. It was as if an invisible current swept across the ground. Aaron's teammates stepped back quickly. "Aaron, be careful. Something is happening." But nothing harmful touched him. The air shimmered faintly, and the rocks near them darkened as if burned. Yet Aaron felt nothing. The alien girl rested in his arms, her eyes fluttering open. She looked directly at him, surprised he was unharmed. The others noticed it too. "That is impossible. The sensors are reading a toxic field around her. It should affect you, Aaron. Why are you standing there like nothing is wrong?" Aaron shook his head. "I don't know. I feel fine. She is safe with me." The girl's lips moved again, and this time a weak whisper came. Her voice was soft, carrying a strange melody even though her words were broken. "Humans, not hurt." Then, her eyes closed again, and she fainted in his arms. The team quickly carried her back to the shuttle. As they flew back toward the Aurora, the cabin filled with silence. Every crew member's mind was racing. This was no ordinary encounter. The girl was alive in a place where no life should exist, carrying something inside her that could destroy any alien life nearby, but not humans. Aaron looked down at her resting figure on the medical bed. Her breathing was steady now, but faint. Her face, though alien, carried a soft, natural beauty that seemed untouched by the harshness of her surroundings. He wondered how long she had been wandering alone on the barren surface. The captain met them when the shuttle docked. His eyes widened at the sight of the girl. "This changes everything," he said firmly. "We must learn who she is and why she affects life in this way." Aaron felt a quiet determination rise within him. He did not know why she had chosen not to fear him or why her poison had spared him, but he felt certain of one thing. This meeting was no accident. Their journey had just taken a turn that would change not only their ship, but perhaps the fate of all who traveled the stars. As the Aurora sailed on, carrying its new passenger, the crew could not shake the feeling that something greater was unfolding. The galaxy was vast, filled with countless dangers and mysteries. Yet in the arms of a young human lay a secret that could shift the balance of power between species. The medical bay of the research vessel Aurora was quiet, filled with the soft hum of machines and the steady rhythm of life support monitors. The alien girl lay on a narrow bed, her chest rising and falling weakly. Strange patterns glowed faintly on her skin, shifting like gentle waves. The crew gathered around, keeping their distance. None dared to step too close except Aaron, who sat beside her without fear. Dr. Ellen, the ship's lead scientist, studied the readings on her tablet. Her brows furrowed. "This is unlike anything I have seen. The air around her is filled with particles we cannot identify. They are toxic to most life. According to these scans, any alien organism exposed to it for long will collapse within minutes." Captain Ryan folded his arms, his expression heavy. "Then explain why Iran stands next to her without harm." The doctor shook her head slowly. "That is the mystery. Her body creates something lethal, yet humans are unaffected. It is as if we are invisible to her poison." Aaron glanced at the sleeping girl. Her face looked calm now, almost peaceful. He remembered how her eyes had widened in surprise when she first saw that he was not harmed. It was as if she expected him to fall like others before him. "She trusts us," Aaron said quietly. "Or at least, she trusts me." The captain studied him for a long moment. "Trust is earned, not given. If she sees you as safe, we must use that carefully. This girl may be the key to something greater than we understand." The crew exchanged uneasy looks. To them, she was not only a mystery, but a danger, a living being whose very presence could wipe out entire species if not contained. Yet to Aaron, she was not a weapon. She was a person who had been alone for too long. Hours passed before the girl stirred. Her eyelids fluttered open, and she looked around in confusion. The bright lights of the medical bay reflected in her large eyes. When she saw the humans gathered near, she stiffened, as if preparing to defend herself. Aaron leaned forward quickly, speaking in a calm voice. "You are safe. You are on our ship. We mean no harm." Her breathing slowed, though her body still trembled. Her voice was soft, almost broken. Why you not fall? All others fall." Dr. Ellen stepped closer, her voice gentle but cautious. "We are human. Perhaps our bodies are different from the ones you have known." The girl blinked, confusion mixing with relief. She looked at Aaron again, as though he were proof of the doctor's words. "Humans, safe." The captain spoke firmly. "What is your name?" She hesitated, then whispered a sound that none of them could easily repeat. It was a delicate mix of tones that did not exist in human language. After a moment, Aaron said softly, "May we call you Lyra? It is close to the sound you made." The girl nodded slowly. Lyra. The name settled in the air, simple yet fitting. From that moment, she was no longer just an alien girl to the crew. She was Lyra, a person with a name. The scientists began gentle questioning, careful not to frighten her. Lyra spoke little, her words broken and scattered, but they pieced together fragments of her story. She had wandered alone for many cycles, moving from one dead world to another. Wherever she went, other beings avoided her. Those who drew near collapsed, unable to survive her presence. She did not understand why her body carried such power. She only knew it left her isolated and feared. As she spoke, her voice trembled, with memories of loneliness. Aaron felt the weight of her pain. To live with such a burden, never able to touch or be touched without harm, was a life of exile. But among the humans, she saw something different. They did not fall. They did not run. For the first time, she was not alone. The captain listened carefully to everything. His mind worked on the larger meaning. If what she carries can kill any alien species but not humans, then we stand at the edge of something dangerous. Others may see her as a weapon. They will come for her. Aaron's hands tightened into fists. Then we protect her. She is not a weapon. She is one of us now. The captain's gaze softened slightly. I hope you are right, Aaron, because once the word spreads, the galaxy will not see her as you do. They will see her as power, and power is always hunted. That night, Lyra remained. In the medical bay under watch, she sat upright, her eyes tracing the smooth walls of the ship with wonder. For someone who had lived on barren rocks, the warm lights and steady air of the Aurora felt like another world. Aaron sat nearby, speaking to her in simple words, teaching her how to say them back. She repeated them softly, sometimes clumsy, but always eager to learn. He pointed to objects around the room, table, light, bed, and she repeated each one with care. For the first time in her life, her voice carried not fear, but curiosity. Later, when she grew tired, she whispered something unexpected. "Thank you, human. Thank you, Aaron." The words were fragile, but carried deep meaning. Aaron smiled. "You are welcome, Lyra. You are not alone anymore." Unseen by them, the ship's sensors picked up faint signals in the distance. Other vessels were moving within the system, drawn by the strange readings of Lyra's presence. Unknown eyes were watching, and unknown forces were already deciding what must be done about the girl who could kill any alien, but not the human. The crew did not yet know what awaited them, but a shadow was already gathering. Lyra's secret, now shared, was too great to remain hidden for long. The Aurora drifted silently through space, carrying Lyra in its care. Days passed, and the crew worked hard to learn more about her. She began to adjust to life aboard the ship, walking its narrow halls and gazing with wide eyes at every new sight. Aaron often stayed close to her, guiding her gently and teaching her new words. Though she grew more comfortable, the crew could not ignore the unease that lingered. The scientists ran countless tests on the air around her, and every result confirmed the same truth. Her body released invisible particles that were deadly to nearly all alien biology. Even in small amounts, they caused collapse within minutes. For humans, however, the poison carried no effect at all. Aaron could stand beside her without harm, while others could only remain in the same room with careful protective measures. The news weighed heavily on Captain Rian. He spent long hours in the command room, speaking with the senior officers. "This cannot stay hidden forever," he said grimly. "If other species learn of this girl, they will not see her as a child in need. They will see her as a weapon, and they will fear her." His words proved true sooner than anyone expected. One evening, the ship's sensors detected several transmissions flooding through nearby systems. Unknown ships were moving toward their location, broadcasting questions across the stars. The messages repeated a single request: turn over the alien girl. She is dangerous to all. The crew gathered in the briefing hall. A heavy silence filled the room as the captain played fragments of the transmissions. Harsh voices from alien councils spoke in tones of fear and command. They demanded that the humans release Lyra into their custody. They already know, Dr. Ellen said softly, her face pale. The readings of her poison must have reached their long-range scans. They will not stop until they have her. Aaron stood, his voice firm. She is not theirs to take. She is not a weapon or an experiment. She is alive. She is one of us now. Several crew members shifted uncomfortably. Lyra, sitting quietly in the corner, lowered her head. She understood enough of their words to know she was the cause of their fear. Her hands trembled, and her eyes shone with pain. The captain's eyes softened as he looked at her. Then he turned back to the crew. We did not choose this, but it is our duty now. We will not surrender her to those who would use her. She will remain under our protection. The words brought a mix of relief and tension. Relief for Aaron, who smiled faintly toward Lyra. Tension for the others, who knew the galaxy would not forgive such defiance easily. That night, the ship sailed on, but the mood was heavy. Lyra stayed close to Aaron, her voice small. They want me gone. I bring danger. Aaron shook his head. No, Lyra. You are not danger. You are life. You did not choose what you carry, but you choose who you are. And to us, you are not a weapon. You are a friend. Her eyes met his, wide and uncertain. Slowly, she nodded, holding on to his words as if they were the only solid ground in her world. Soon after, the threat became real. The Aurora received a direct hail from a coalition fleet blocking their path. The screen in the command room lit, up with alien faces, leaders of different species, their expressions hard and filled with suspicion. Humans, one of them declared. You harbor a being whose very breath kills our kind. You risk every world by keeping her with you. Hand her over or face the judgment of the Council. Captain Rian stood tall. We will not abandon an innocent to fear and greed. She is under our protection. The alien voices rose in anger. You speak of innocence, yet she could wipe out entire populations. You protect her because she spares you. But what of us? What of all others who cannot stand near her without falling? The tension in the room grew sharp. Aaron's fists clenched at his sides. But he kept silent, waiting for the captain's reply. Ryan's voice was steady. What you call danger, we call difference. Humanity has been treated as fragile since the day we left our homeworld. You said we were weak, that we could never survive among stronger races. Yet here is proof that we can walk where others cannot. Her trust in us is proof that strength is not only in weapons, but in choice. We will not give her to you. The transmission ended with threats of pursuit. The alien fleet began to move, their ships spreading like hunters around the path of the Aurora. The crew scrambled to prepare. Shields powered up, engines pushed to full, and every hand on board felt the weight of what was coming. The humans were not known for defying the greater councils, but now they had chosen a path of defiance. Lyra stood quietly at the edge of the command deck. Her eyes moved from one human face to another. She could feel their fear, but also their courage. For the first time, she realized these humans were not protecting her because they wanted power. They were protecting her because they believed she deserved a chance to live. Her voice was barely a whisper, but Aaron heard it. Why do you stand for me when all others turn away? Aaron smiled faintly, his voice steady. Because that is what it means to be human. We do not abandon those who need us. We stand even when the galaxy tells us to fall." The words struck something deep in her heart. She had spent her life as an outcast, a danger to all. But here, aboard this ship, among these humans, she was not a curse. She was part of something larger. As the alien fleets closed in, Captain Ryan gave the order. "Prepare for evasive maneuvers. They want her, but they will not take her. We are human, and we protect our own." The Aurora surged forward into the black sea of space, engines roaring, chased by the powerful fleets of the galaxy. Inside, Aaron placed a hand gently on Lyra's shoulder, steady and reassuring. She looked at him with new strength in her eyes. The research vessel Aurora cut through the void of space at full speed. Its engines burned bright as the ship tried to stay ahead of the alien fleets closing in. The crew moved quickly across the command deck, their voices sharp but steady as they worked the controls. Every second mattered, for the hunters were many, and the Aurora was only one. The screen flashed with red markers showing the positions of enemy ships. Dozens of vessels spread across the system like a net, their paths converging toward the humans. They were larger, faster, and built for battle, while the Aurora was designed for research and exploration. To survive, the humans would need skill and determination. Captain Ryan stood firm at the center of the command deck. His voice carried calm authority. "Set course through the asteroid field ahead. It will slow them more than it slows us, the Phi." Crew obeyed. The ship angled toward the jagged field of rock and ice that drifted silently in space. The asteroids spun in unpredictable patterns, some the size of mountains, others no larger than stones. Entering such a place was dangerous, but the captain knew they had little choice. The ship shuddered as it passed between the first of the massive stones. Lights flickered, alarms rang, and crew members tightened their grips on their stations. Behind them, the alien ships hesitated before following. Even their war machines could be torn apart if they struck a drifting boulder. Inside the medical bay, Lyra clutched the side of her bed. Her large eyes darted with fear as the ship rocked under sudden maneuvers. Aaron stayed beside her, his hand steady on her arm. "Do not be afraid," he said softly. "We will get through this." She looked at him, her voice trembling. "They come because of me. If I leave, you will be safe." Aaron shook his head. "No, Lyra. You are not the cause of this danger. They are. You did nothing wrong, and we will not let them take you." Tears welled in her eyes, but she nodded faintly. For the first time, she chose to believe his words more than her own fear. The chase through the asteroid field grew fiercer. Alien ships fired beams of light that cut through stone, sending fragments spinning across the void. Explosions lit the darkness, casting shadows across the Aurora. The humans dodged and weaved, using the asteroids as cover. "Shields at 60%, called Mira from her station. "Hold steady," the captain replied. His voice was calm, though his heart raced. "Stay close to the largest rocks. They cannot risk firing too close without hitting themselves." The ship dove behind a massive asteroid, its surface rough and scarred from centuries of impacts. Alien beams struck the rock instead, breaking chunks loose and sending them tumbling through space. The Aurora slipped through the chaos, engines straining. On the lower deck, Aaron helped Lyra move to a safer position. She was weak, but determined to stand. Her body still released the invisible poison, though humans remained unharmed by it. Aaron guided her into a small chamber designed for emergencies. "You will be safe here," he told her. Her hand touched his sleeve, stopping him. "Why do you fight so hard for me? I am only one. You risk all for me." Aaron looked into her eyes, his voice steady. "Because every life matters. You are not only one. You are Lyra. And as long as you are with us, you are part of our family." The words struck her deeply. She lowered her head, her voice soft. "Then I will not ask to leave again." Back on the command deck, the situation grew worse. More alien ships entered the asteroid field, tightening their pursuit. The crew felt the pressure building. One wrong move could send them crashing into rock or caught by enemy fire. "Engines overheating," warned the chief engineer. "We cannot keep this pace much longer." Captain Ryan studied the star chart quickly. His eyes settled on a glowing nebula just beyond the asteroid field. "Set course for the nebula. Its gases will mask our energy trail. If we reach it, we can vanish from their scanners." The ship turned sharply, dodging between drifting boulders. Alien ships followed, beams cutting through the darkness. The Aurora pushed its engines to the limit. The hull creaked under the strain, but the vessel surged forward, breaking free of the asteroid field. Ahead lay the nebula, a vast cloud of color swirling with light and shadow. It looked beautiful, like a painting spread across the stars, but inside it was unpredictable. Storms of energy and magnetic currents made travel dangerous. Yet for the humans, danger was better than capture. The Aurora plunged into the glowing mist. At once, the screens filled with static and sensors became unreliable. The crew worked quickly to adjust, their faces tense. Behind them, the alien. Ships hesitated, some turning away, others pushing forward into the cloud. Inside the nebula, lightning arcs of energy danced across the ship's shields. The vessel shook violently, but it held together. The crew gritted their teeth and pressed on. "Hold steady," the captain commanded. "The nebula will confuse their scans. We must use it to vanish." The alien ships that followed soon struggled. Their scanners failed, their weapons misfired, and several collided with drifting energy storms. Explosions flared in the mist, their light swallowed by the swirling clouds. The humans watched from a distance as their hunters faltered. Aaron stood by Lyra's side, feeling the ship tremble with each surge of energy. She looked out the small window at the glowing storm, her eyes wide with wonder. "It is beautiful," she whispered. He smiled faintly. "Yes, it is. And it may save us." Hours later, the ship emerged from the far side of the nebula, battered, but intact. Behind them, no enemy ships remained. The crew let out breaths of relief, though they knew the danger was not over. The galaxy had seen what Lyra was. The chase would begin again. Captain Ryan addressed the crew, his voice strong. "We have survived this trial, but more will come. Others will not stop until they have her. We must be ready for what lies ahead." In the quiet that followed, Aaron turned to Lyra. She looked tired but no longer broken. For the first time, she smiled softly. "I stay," she said, "with humans. With you." Aaron nodded, his heart steady. "Then we will face whatever comes together." The Aurora sailed on into the dark, carrying its fragile but powerful secret. The galaxy was wide, and enemies gathered in its shadows. Yet in the bond between a human and an alien girl lay the spark of something greater than fear. The Aurora drifted in the calm after the storm of the chase. The ship carried scars from the asteroid field and the nebula, but it remained whole. The crew worked hard to repair systems, patch hull plates, and restore order. Yet their minds were not at ease. They all knew that the galaxy had seen Lyra, and fear was spreading faster than any signal. In the medical bay, Dr. Ellen leaned over a glowing screen filled with strange data. Vials of samples and air filters surrounded her desk. She had spent hours studying the invisible particles that Lyra's body released, searching for patterns, searching for answers. Aaron stood nearby, watching quietly as Lyra sat on the bed, calm but curious. Dr. Ellen's voice finally broke the silence. "I think I understand now. This is not a random poison. It is something precise, something created by nature itself, for a reason." Captain Ryan entered the room at that moment, his eyes narrowing. "Explain, Doctor. We need to know exactly what we are protecting." The doctor adjusted her glasses and pointed at the readings. "The particles Lyra produces are not simple toxins. They are highly advanced proteins that attack very specific types of cells. Strangely, they only exist in alien species that share a certain biological root. Almost every major race we know belongs to that root. But humans do not. Our biology is different, separate. That is why we are immune." Aaron frowned. "So it is not an accident?" Dr. Ellen shook her head. "No, this is an adaptation, a defense system shaped long ago. I believe Lyra's people were created, or perhaps forced by nature, to resist something very old, a predator or a plague that once hunted across the stars." The captain's expression hardened. "A predator?" "Yes," Ellen replied. "The particles are not meant to kill blindly. They are designed to protect. They destroy foreign cells quickly, but they do not harm humans because we never shared the same chain of life as the others. Lyra is not a weapon. She is the result of survival against something that once threatened many worlds." Lyra listened with wide eyes, her hands clenched tightly on the blanket. Her voice trembled. "So, I am not curse?" Aaron leaned forward, his voice soft. "No, Lyra. You are not a curse. You are a survivor. Your body carries the memory of a war that others have forgotten. You were made to endure." Tears filled her eyes, but this time they were not of sorrow. They were of relief. For the first time in her life, she heard words that gave meaning to her suffering. She was not a monster. She was a living answer to an ancient danger. "Captain," Ryan exhaled slowly. "This truth must be guarded. If the galaxy learns she is not a weapon, but a key to survival, every faction will fight harder to control her. Some will want her power to protect themselves. Others will want to destroy her, to erase the fear she represents." Aaron turned to the captain. "Then we keep her safe, not as a tool, not as a secret, but as who she is. Lyra deserves to live without chains." The captain gave a firm nod. "Agreed. But we must be ready because the galaxy will not stop hunting her." Over the next days, Dr. Ellen continued her research. She found ancient records in the ship's archives, hints of stories told by distant civilizations about a shadow that once devoured worlds, a predator so terrible that even memory of it was feared. Many believed it had been destroyed long ago, but now Ellen wondered if Lyra's existence was proof that it might still linger. The thought spread unease through the crew. If such a creature returned, only humans and Lyra's kind might stand against it. And Lyra seemed to be the last of her kind. One evening, Aaron sat with Lyra near the viewing window. Stars glowed softly outside, filling the endless dark with light. She pressed her hand against the glass, her eyes shining with wonder. "Always I walk alone," she whispered. "Always others fall. Now I sit here and I am not alone. I see stars and they are beautiful. But more beautiful is this feeling. Safe." Aaron smiled gently. "You are safe here, and you are not alone anymore. You have us. You have me." Her gaze lingered on him, soft and full of something new. She whispered his name as if it carried warmth. Then she looked back at the stars. "I want to see more, not hide, not run. See the worlds, see the sky, with humans." Aaron's heart filled with quiet determination. "Then we will see them together." But as the aurora sailed through the dark, unknown eyes watched. Signals carried across hidden channels, rumors spread through distant systems. Whispers of the girl, whose poison spared only the humans, reached the ears of those who thrived on fear. In a hidden chamber on a distant station, alien leaders gathered once more. They spoke of Lyra with trembling voices. Some demanded her destruction, others demanded her capture, but all agreed on one thing. She could not be left free among the stars. Meanwhile, on the ship, the truth gave Lyra new strength. She began to walk the halls with her head held higher. She learned more human words each day. She laughed softly at Aaron's clumsy jokes. She helped Mira in the garden room, touching plants she had never seen before. For the first time in her life, she was more than a survivor. She was living, yet deep inside her, a shadow remained. If her poison was made to defend against something ancient, what if that ancient thing still waited in the dark? What if her gift was not only her burden, but also a warning? Late one night, as the crew slept, Lyra stood by the window again. Her eyes searched the endless stars, and her whisper barely reached the air. What hunts me still? The Aurora continued its journey, carrying its fragile but vital secret. Within its walls, the crew found hope and fear in equal measure. They had learned the truth of Lyra's gift, but truth was only the beginning. The Aurora sailed through the dark between stars, but peace did not last. The crew knew the galaxy would not remain silent after learning of Lyra. Too many feared her gift, too many hungered for it, and too many wanted to erase it. The warning came suddenly. Alarms rang across the ship as Mira shouted from her station. "Multiple ships on approach. They are blocking our path." Captain Rian stepped onto the command deck, his jaw tight. "How many?" "An entire fleet," Mira replied. "At least 20 vessels. They are armed and moving into position." The crew stared at the screens. The ships filled the space ahead, their weapons glowing. A transmission cut through the static. The face of an alien leader appeared, his expression cold. "Humans, you shelter a danger to the galaxy. The girl must be surrendered at once. If you refuse, you will be destroyed." The captain's voice was steady. "We will not abandon her. She is not a weapon. She is a living being, and she is under our protection." The alien's eyes narrowed. "Then you force our hand." The screen went dark, and the fleet began to close in. The Aurora shook as the first warning shots struck its shields. In the medical bay, Lyra felt the tremors. She turned to Aaron, her face pale with fear. "They come for me. If I go to them, you live. If I stay, you die." Aaron shook his head firmly. "No, Lyra. If you go, they will use you until nothing of you is left. If you stay, we have a chance. You are not alone anymore. You will not walk into their hands." Tears formed in her eyes, but she nodded. Deep inside, a new strength was rising. On the command deck, the situation worsened. The shields weakened under heavy fire. The Aurora was a research ship, not a war vessel. They could not fight a fleet. Captain Ryan spoke quickly. "We cannot match their firepower, but we can show them the truth. Prepare the airlock chamber. Aaron, bring Lyra." Aaron understood at once. His chest tightened, but he obeyed. He guided Lyra through the trembling halls toward the airlock. She walked beside him, her steps unsteady yet determined. When they arrived, the captain and several crew were waiting. The chamber door opened to the dark expanse beyond, shielded only by a thin energy barrier. The alien fleet hung outside, surrounding them like predators. The captain sent a transmission to the enemy. "Ships." His voice carried across the stars. "You call her a weapon. You call her a threat. But you do not understand her truth. Watch and see." He motioned to Aaron. Aaron stepped forward with Lyra at his side. She looked at him with wide eyes, her voice trembling. "If I release it, they will fall." Aaron's voice was steady. "Do it. Show them, and I will stand with you." Slowly, Lyra closed her eyes. Her body shimmered faintly. and the invisible poison spread into the chamber. Sensors screamed with warnings. The alien ships reacted at once. On their screens, alien leaders gasped and choked, their bodies faltering even through the safety of their vessels. Panic spread through the fleet, but in the center of it all, Aaron stood beside Lyra, unharmed. The poison swirled around him, yet he did not waver. He reached for her hand and held it firmly, his voice carrying across the transmission. You see it now. She does not destroy all. She spares us. She trusts us. Humanity is not afraid, and neither should you be. The silence that followed was heavy. Across the fleet, the aliens stared in disbelief. They had expected Aaron to fall like all others, yet he remained strong, a living proof that humans were different. Captain Ryan's voice cut through the silence. You call her danger, but she is not. She is life. She is survival. She is hope, and we will protect her with our own lives. The alien fleet hesitated. Their weapons dimmed. Their leaders whispered in confusion. Some ships began to withdraw, unwilling to face a truth they did not understand. Aaron squeezed Lyra's hand gently. She opened her eyes, tears glistening. They fear me still. They fear what they do not know. Aaron replied softly. But today, you showed them you are more than fear. You are proof of life's strength. Slowly, the poison around them faded. Lyra's body calmed and the chamber cleared. Aaron stayed by her side until the last trace vanished. The fleet outside shifted. One by one, ships turned and moved away, leaving only a few behind. The voice of the alien leader returned, softer than before. We see your truth, human. But truth does not erase fear. Many will still come for her. Protect her if you can. The transmission ended, and the remaining ships retreated. The space ahead opened once more. Inside the Aurora, the crew let out a collective breath of relief. They had survived the encounter not with weapons, but with courage and truth. In the quiet that followed, Aaron led Lyra back to the medical bay. She leaned against him, exhausted but alive. She looked at him with eyes full of trust. You stood when all others fall. Why? Aaron smiled gently. Because that is what it means to be human. We stand together. We protect those who cannot protect themselves. And now you are one of us. She closed her eyes, her voice soft but steady. Then I will stand too. With humans. Always. The Aurora continued its journey, scarred but unbroken. The crew knew danger would return, but they also knew something greater had begun. Humanity had shown the galaxy its strength not with weapons, but with compassion. The Aurora drifted quietly after the fleet had gone. The crew moved through the halls with tired steps, yet their spirits carried a new kind of strength. They had seen something rare and powerful. They had stood against an entire fleet without, firing a single shot, and they had walked away alive. But peace never lingered for long in the wide galaxy. Everyone on board knew the truth. Word would spread. More factions would come. Some would seek to capture Lyra, others to destroy her, and a few might even hope to use her for power. Inside the medical bay, Aaron sat beside Lyra. She rested on the bed, her eyes open and thoughtful. The faint hum of the ship surrounded them. For the first time in years, she looked calm. You are safe for now, Aaron said gently. Lyra turned her head to face him. Safe for now, but not forever. They will come again. You heard their words. I heard them, Aaron replied. But I also saw something else. Not every ship stayed. Some turned away. Some saw you differently. Her lips curved into a faint smile. Do you believe they will accept me one day? Yes, Aaron said firmly. It may take time. It may take struggle, but one day, they will see what I see. Not a weapon, not a curse, but someone with a gift that only humans can stand beside. The door opened and Captain Ryan entered with Mira and 2 engineers. His expression carried both worry and hope. The ship is damaged, but repairs are underway, Ryan explained. We cannot return to human space yet. The path is blocked by patrols. We must travel further into unknown territory. Aaron frowned. Unknown territory is dangerous. Ryan nodded. Yes, but it is also freedom. The further we move from known routes, the harder it will be for them to track us. We can find a place where she is safe, at least for a while. Lyra sat up slowly, her voice soft yet steady. I do not wish to hide forever. If I am to live among humans, then humans should not live in fear because of me. I want to stand with you, not only behind you. Her words filled the room with silence. The captain looked at her, then at Aaron, then finally gave a small nod. Then you will. From this moment, you are part of this crew. We sail together. We fight together. We survive together. The days that followed turned into weeks as the Aurora moved deeper into the stars. The crew repaired the engines, patched the hull, and strengthened the shields. Life aboard the ship became a rhythm again, yet different than before. There was a new presence among them. Lyra began to walk the halls more often. At first, the crew kept their distance, afraid of her strange gift, but soon they saw her smile, her laughter, and her kindness. She helped in the medical bay, learning from the doctor. She shared quiet words with the engineers. She even joined Mira at the command deck, curious about the stars outside. One evening, the crew gathered in the dining hall. The long table was filled with food grown from the hydroponic gardens. Voices filled the air with stories and laughter. For the first time, Lyra sat among them. She ate little, but her eyes shone with warmth as she listened. Mira raised her cup and spoke. To new friends, and to strange gifts that teach us what it means to be human. The crew cheered. Lyra's heart swelled with something she had never known before. Belonging. But danger did not vanish. Scouts from another alien faction soon caught their trail. A small patrol ship appeared on their scanners, shadowing them from afar. It did not attack, but it followed with patience. Captain Ryan ordered silence. Do not provoke them. If they wish to follow, let them. We will not start a fight. For days, the patrol lingered. Lyra watched from the viewing window, her voice quiet. They are waiting. They want to know who I am. Sooner or later, they will call. She was right. On the 6th day, the transmission came. The face of an alien commander filled the screen. Unlike the others, his voice was calm. We have heard stories, the commander said. A girl who carries death in her breath, yet spares the humans. We have seen fleets that failed to take her. We do not come to fight. We come to understand. The captain looked at Lyra. She gave a small nod. She was ready. The aliens were cautious. They docked at a distance, sending only a small envoy aboard, the Aurora. Their leader stepped into the airlock chamber wearing protective armor. The crew stood ready, weapons close at hand, but Aaron placed himself at Lyra's side as always. The alien leader looked at Lyra with curious eyes. Is it true? Does your presence kill? Lyra lowered her gaze, then lifted it with courage. Yes, but not all. Not humans. They live beside me unharmed. I did not choose this gift. I cannot change it. Yet I will not run from it anymore. I will use it to protect those who protect me. The alien studied her for a long time. Then, slowly, he removed his helmet. The crew gasped in shock. Aaron tightened his stance, ready to shield Lyra, but the alien only stepped closer. He inhaled the air carefully, his skin paling slightly, but he did not fall. He struggled, yet he remained standing. "This is truth," the alien said hoarsely. "I feel the poison, yet it does not end me at once. Pain, yes. Fear, yes. But also strength. Perhaps this gift is not death, but change." He turned to Captain Rian. "You, protect her well. Many will hunt her, but not all. Some will see her as we do now, a bridge between your kind and ours." With that, the envoy departed, leaving behind both warning and promise. When the ship undocked, the crew gathered around Lyra. Aaron placed his hand gently on her shoulder. "You are no longer only a survivor. You are a symbol now. They will fear you, but they will also hope because of you." Lyra's eyes filled with light. "I am not afraid anymore, not while I stand with you." Captain Ryan spoke last. "Then we continue our journey. The galaxy knows of us now. We cannot go back, but we can go forward. Wherever this path leads, we will face it together." And so the Aurora sailed on, deeper into the stars, carrying with it a young alien girl and the humans who had chosen to stand by her side. They were hunted, yes, but they were also free. And in that freedom grew the first spark of something greater than fear. A spark of unity, a spark of change. The crew did not know what worlds awaited or what battles lay ahead, but they knew one: truth. Humanity had proven its strength not by power, but by compassion. And with that truth, they would shape a new future among the stars.